welcome to another conversation of this Wondrous Ascension Rite 2022, the light at the end of the tunnel virtual retreat. My name is Sandra Thomas from Your Glorious Ascension Journey Enlightened Services, and I'm your host in this event, and I am surrounded by an amazing group of channelers, authors, intuitives, astrologers, spiritual teachers, and if I'm lucky, maybe we have a tarot reader as well here. And so we're all here. We're all here because we know that these are very challenging times and we want to support you. And we're here to provide you with the most powerful tools, tips, the guidance that you need, the wisdom and the inspiration. And so we're here together to create this container for you. And yes, these are very challenging ascension times. We know that. And we are really riding this very amazing and very powerful ascension wave as we speak. So today, I am very happy and excited to introduce to you someone who's bringing a very angelic and gentle, beautiful energy with her. She is a joyful mystic who helps you consciously create the life you choose. And along with the angels, she channels, she gives you tools to thrive in the new earth energies. She is a conscious channel, a medium, a shaman, an animal communicator, and intuitive guide. And she's author of 3 books, Angel Insights for Unprecedented Times, very timely indeed, Why Did Lemuria Fall, and Slip Through the Keyhole. And yes, she is a regular contributor to the Sedona Journal of Emergence. I'm very pleased to welcome Adria Estribou. How are you today? Welcome, and thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you. I'm delighted, so delighted. I love a summit like this because there's this incredible synchronicity of who tunes in to listen and to which speakers. And, you know, we don't know in our conscious minds, we're not saying, oh, this is for Betty and Tom, but there's this incredible energy of gathering the right people for the right message. So if you're listening right now, this is a gift for you. This is, the angels brought you here for this moment. So welcome.
I'm sure of that too, indeed. So Adria, of course, before we plunge into talking about all of your gifts and talents, I would like you to share how you got here. When did you notice that you were developing your gifts and talents? Were you a little girl? Did you have teachers? What brought you to this moment in time? What were your breakthroughs to bring you here to this moment?
Sure. Well, for me, it's been a little bit of a long road. The good news is for people today, it doesn't have to be so long. But when I was 18, I just got lit up with meditation. So I went to India. I lived in ashrams on and off, or on weekends when I was in school and college. And so I've been really, really active with my spiritual journey, meditation and breath work and those kind of practices for more than 30 years. And still being that involved, it did take me a good, I'd say more than 20 years before I found my own gifts and what was I ready to offer into the world. So that's been slowly unfolding since 2011 for me, with the shamanic sound and then channeled messages and mediumship and animal communication. All of that sort of come one step at a time as I sort of notice and allow and practice and get into the energies of it.
You mentioned 2011. Was that a special year? Some we speak about that as a interesting, that was the year before Ascension year, right, of the Earth. Is that correct in your perspective?
A lot of people do seem to have had really personally strong experiences in 2011. I can't tell you conceptually, why, but I would say for me, it was definitely a big year of opening. That's when my personal gifts started to come out. Yeah. So as I already was very service-minded, very interested in meditation and other spiritual practice, but that's when for me, my own ways of service started to open up.
Yes, I heard that there was the Venus transit that year, and it opened up many hearts. Many people awoke right to their services, to their journey. So I
Beautiful.
remember it's a very interesting year, 2011. So my next question is, if you can tell us a little bit to clarify the difference between channeler, medium, and intuitive guide. I mean, how
Oh,
can we
sure.
define all of these three things? They
Yeah.
seem quite similar to me.
So I'll start with maybe the easiest one first, in intuition or intuitive guide. So that's the way, many or most of us have some ways that we know things and we don't know how we know them. And we just have that strong nudge to turn left here or call that person, where it comes from. It doesn't seem to come from the mind or something you're seeing or touching, five senses right in that moment. So I do use my intuition to help others find their intuition, but also that's one of the ways I have of knowing. I also, for whatever reasons, tend to have a very strong connection with other dimensions and planes of existence. So I can see and speak with spirit animals and people who have passed on. That's the medium connection. And telepathically with animals who are living. So there's a lot for me about communication. So in a way, the channeling piece, which is about communicating with the angels, is a sort of it's part of kind of the same skill set, although it's a very separate thing. When you're a channel, someone or something is speaking through you. So in my case, I mostly channel angels Ariel and Raphael. Sometimes I channel Lemurians and other beings, but I'm quite selective about who I want speaking through me. And I just love the angels' energy, and they're so relevant for this time, I feel. So I personally focus on that as a channel, who I'm letting through.
Of course. Now, you mentioned, of course, that was my next question about animal communication. So, how does it work? Is it like a natural gift, or it's something that we learn, that you learned? I mean, how does it work?
Yeah, I know there are schools for that. So I think it's something you can learn. For me personally, it happened because I started out first knowing that I had this ability to communicate as a medium with people who had passed on. And I was at an expo. I had a booth where people could do short sessions. And 3 or 4 people in a row on one given day asked me to speak to their animal friends, their pets who had passed on.
Yeah.
And I thought it was very odd at the time. I was my ego was pretty confused. Like, I don't understand why I'm talking to pets. And finally, by the end of that day, I was like, oh, my guides want me to know that I'm an animal communicator. So then I recognized that same ability to speak with animals who are still living was present. So I imagine it works differently for different people. For me, I'm using telepathy. So I'm basically speaking mind to mind with the animal. And because I'm empathic, I can also feel what they're feeling. If they're feeling itchy or tired or something like that, I can feel what they're feeling as I communicate with them. So, but that's a good example. And I think for any of you listening who are wondering what your gifts are, sometimes you find out what they are because people start asking you for something. And the first several times you're like, no, I don't know how to do that. I don't know what that is. And then pay attention if more than 3 people have asked you, can you do this for
That
me?
seems to be a message in itself.
Maybe you
And
can.
in what ways does it differ, telepathic communication to a human and telepathic communication to an animal? In what ways does it, if any, is there any difference?
For me, no. I think what's important to animals and people are different. So the kind of conversations tend to be different. So, but otherwise, the way it works to me feels the same.
That's interesting. So, Adria, and speaking of angels now, which seems to be your favorite, right? Like the
Yes.
communication that you hold with the angelic realms. So, can you tell us again how you started that, and in what way? Because there's so much stress and uncertainty, and people are a little scared. They don't they cannot think ahead a lot, right? We cannot plan, I feel, the way we used to plan things in our lives. It looks like there is uncertainty as to what's going to happen in the future, and people are finding it hard to sleep or that sort of thing. So in what ways can the angels help us at this time in this ascension waves, right, that we are riding, and that are challenging and difficult to many people sometimes?
Yeah, I'm so glad that you mentioned the present moment. One of the things that I've noticed in the last few years, for me, this collective ascension we're in really kind of hit the go button around 2017, and there was another big wave in the last few weeks here. But one of the things that's happened in terms of uncertainty is I've noticed for myself, the present moment's gotten smaller and smaller. I used to feel like I had some sense of what the future was for me or for the planet. And maybe that was never true, but at least there was this calm sense of, yeah, I know what this is. I got this. I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like, well, I really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or 2 weeks from now in the world or with myself and my gifts even. I no longer think that I know that. So that's very different and can create a lot of uncertainty. I think a lot of people feel that way right now about the world.
Yeah.
One reason or another, whether you're looking at it spiritually or just practically, the uncertainty comes up, right?
Yeah.
So where the angels join with us is one is they have a very calming presence typically. If you're not calling in an angel to do battle for you, that is something they do. Typically when they're working with me, it's more around the wisdom and understanding deeper layers of where you are in your life. But there's this beautiful sense of just, oh, everything's okay that comes along with their energy. That's one way they can help. The other way I feel like is in helping us to really discern how much the reason we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow or 5 minutes from now is we haven't created it yet. So to empower us into being the one to choose, oh, this is what I want. This is what I want my life to look like. And as we get more practiced in those skills about creating our own world, oh, if I want to create world peace or something else broader, once I get this down, see how it plays out in my own life, I can also contribute to the collective here. That's what I find very exciting is when you take away this sense of, oh, I know what's going to happen, or I have some certain destiny that's going to play out this way. And you come into the uncertainty, you're also coming into the power of the present moment. I'm creating this. And they love to help us with that, choosing what we want and sparking that into our life, into our future.
Can the angels teach us or help us the ways of manifestation? Because so many people are talking about, I want to manifest money, or like many people are still sub-employed, let's say, not fully employed, or they're challenging, their lives are challenging with their monies and income. So I've received that question myself not long ago. I mean, can you teach me how to make money?
Yes.
I mean, is that possible, or is it something that needs to evolve, mature, inside out? How do you see that in that respect, in that sense, Adria?
Our ability, each of us, so even if you have never meditated or you're just starting out on a path, our ability to create what we want in our life is just unprecedented now. So compared to 5 years or 20 years ago, I'd say the tools for manifestation were a lot more complex. It was possible, but you really had to do a lot more work around existing barriers, structures, and things that might keep you from manifesting what you want. Now it's like all of those layers of mind control and other things that were keeping us from getting what we want are gone, really largely gone. There's still a little cleanup happening here and there, but let's say broadly speaking, now it's really up to us. So yes, it's much more of a shortcut for manifestation, and it's not something we have to earn or really work very hard at. It really comes to what do I want, and getting clarity on that, and being willing to drop our old belief systems. I can't have that. That's really
Yeah,
the
that's a big one.
that's
Yeah.
left. Out of habit, we can feel like, whoa, I tried that 20 times to have my own business. It always fails. Well, when you say to yourself or out loud, it always fails, you're basically instructing the universe around you and your guides, this is what I want to see. You consciously wouldn't think that, but you're telling, this is how the world is. It's telling you all this is how the world is. I never succeed at this. And then your guides and angels in the universe say, okay, you never succeed.
Yeah, let's drop the efforts. Yeah,
so you
right.
change your mind
So
about
we
things.
need to be so careful with what we're thinking and saying, right, and feeling. So we need to be mindful of all of that more than ever before. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's true. And so how do you see the light at the end of the tunnel, Adria?
We're here. I feel like we're really, really here. Where the barriers are gone. Huge. The last few years have been so much about a clearing of ancestral trauma and a lot of old structural stuff, third dimensional stuff that's been keeping us pretty weighed down collectively as humanity. So we're here in the bright light, and it's incredible. I can say I've been practicing really often the things that angels teach about being here now and in the ascension moment, and it's accessible and working now in ways that was never available to us before. We had to work very hard before. So the light here at the end of the tunnel is it's in many ways the easiest time to have anything you want, whether that's spiritual something, material something, circumstances, people, anything.
Right. So what I sense is that it does take some discipline, right? Whenever we want to achieve something spiritual or otherwise, it looks like it needs to train and to focus, to be determined and to be clear in our, right? This is what I sense, because I mean, nothing comes from nothing. I mean, we need to put the energy in. It doesn't happen by itself. And for me, it was a long journey to understand, because now it comes from the heavens. It needs to come in my hands. And what I'm noticing now, it is actually, it's the reaping of what you're sowing. It's indeed what you put in. It's what you're gonna, take out. And it's not, everything is energy. So if we don't put the energy in, it's not going to come out in the way that we want and manifest that which we so desire to manifest, right? Whatever it is. I've noticed that lately more than ever. Do you agree about that?
There has been a really big change in that. So the clarity piece, I'd say, of all what you just mentioned is, from my perspective, which is really informed by the angels, is the clarity. What do I want? That's kind of the whole recipe. There are nuances to it, of course, but the way we're coming out of, so our whole life until, let's say, 2017, 2018, we really learned how to do things in a third dimensional way, which does require a lot of planning, a lot of effort, a lot of work. And the fifth dimension and higher dimensions that we're moving into, it's just not that way. It's more like daydreaming something and then it appears. It's not
That's awesome. That's great news.
But yeah, it's very different. It's like, I work with people a lot and they say, well, that sounds really simple. I say, yeah, I know. And it is. It's really magical. So the work piece, I think, again, comes down to, are you willing to let go of your old beliefs that it has to be hard? Or that it's not for you, it's for some other special people, not for you. And so people, that's hard to let go of. That could be, but otherwise it can be quite effortless, quite simple. That's one of the hallmarks of fifth dimension.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see. I mean, it is happening, but I would like to see it happen maybe more, faster, probably.
Yes.
You mentioned in 2017 something like tweaking or shifting or something happening. I was about to ask if you see ascension, the process of ascension, as a process in itself, or like in periods of time where there are peaks and valleys, and how would you define the last, I was thinking of the last 2 years, maybe, before of it, and then the last months towards this present moment, how do you see this evolving? Is it the same thing, or do you feel or sense an acceleration of events and energies happening?
Absolutely an acceleration, yes.
Mm.
And what surprised me about Ascension is, so I've been on spiritual path for more than 30 years. And for most of that time, it was a very individual journey, and the kind of what you're talking about, putting the work in, putting the energy in, the hours of
Mm.
meditation, the spiritual practice. And all of that benefited me tremendously. I have nothing negative to say about that. Just that now we're in something that's different. It's collective, and it has to do with the energies available to us here on planet Earth and dimensional shifts. So I really didn't understand that or know that at all until we were in it. And the angels started giving messages through me. And so I've just been learning it. I feel like I'm sort of in the front row, like listening to what the angels are saying as I channel. But it's around 2018 is where it felt like this big shift to what's accessible to us started to change. And then there was another, within the last month, it feels like another big wave of, oh, we're actually fully finally here now. So from my perspective, there's no more waiting. We're not waiting on further planetary alignments. I'm sure there will be gorgeous planetary openings and other opportunities, but essentially we're here in New Earth now, and it's up to us. Do we want to, how much do we want to play in that and take advantage of what's now open to us? Because there's a lot of habits formed around the old way of doing things. So it's just kind of experimenting and practicing and playing with what's here for us now.
Mm-hmm. So, what is it important for people to know to adapt to these changes? Because some people are wondering what to do, how to be in the flow of events, of changes of the energies that are pouring down on Earth. What tip can we give them to be in tune with all of that and move forward?
The most important thing I could say to anyone is be in touch with your heart. How, any way it could just be closing your eyes and coming into this energy field around your heart, or if you have more complex ways of getting in there, that's great too. But ask yourself, what do I want? So it could be just simple things in the course of like daily activities, could be big things in terms of circumstances or people, relationships you want in your life.
Yeah.
Get really clear about what you want now, not what you thought you wanted, the concepts or what you've been wanting for 20 years, but probably changed in the last year. For most people, it did. So get honest and clear about, what do I want? And that's the number one tool you can do to come into access of starting to see, when I get really clear about what I want, it shows up. Oh, so when you start to see that show up in life, you start to trust it more, get more playful, but it really is a simple recipe of, what do I want?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's working for you. Like you can testify that this is really working and it's happening. It's happening to you, and you're really witnessing those things.
Incredible and so startling to me. So because it usually shows up so fast. And when it doesn't, then I look in the layers of, all right, what is it that I believe about the world and myself that I think I can have?
Right.
Those are the fun layers of growing too. For many things, it shows up very fast, and that's it's new for me.
That's very nice. And so again, is there anything else that we can add so that people have ideas or tips to move out of stress? Because to many people still, like they're like, still going in the wheel and not being able to every morning starting over. It says no, it's like it's in the mind that they know that they have to relax, but deep inside they still don't get the way to really find that peace of heart and relax and be under control of their lives instead of being controlled by fear or anxiety and all over the place. So is there anything that you can probably maybe tell them to move forward with something simple that they can do and change that energy that is
Yes.
spiraling down.
When you have a fear or a worry, I would say don't wallpaper it over. So this isn't about affirmations of I'm going to be happy today and just
Yeah,
pretending that the fear isn't there. Just look at it as honestly as you can. Okay, I'm afraid this thing is going to happen, or I'm worried about this. And then that's the same question applies. What do I want? So I'm just going to use a simple example. I know there are more weighty issues around right now, but let's say I'm so worried and bothered. There's never parking at this location, and I have to go somewhere quickly and be on time to the next thing. So I'm getting in this worry wheel of this is going to be awful, and I can't leave earlier, and this meeting's running longer, and so the worries
exactly. Yeah.
So when I notice I'm doing something like that, I stop and say, okay, what I'm telling myself is what I don't want. So what do I want? So then I refocus. Okay, I want an easy parking spot near the front of the store and to be at my next appointment on time. And, 9 times out of 9, I would say that's what happens when I can stop the worry, not pretend it's not there, not put on an aphorism, it's okay, I'll be happy anyway. No, just what do I want to happen?
Mm-hmm.
So I find that less pressure on myself because I'm not telling myself my mind's not supposed to think or not supposed to worry. No, it's very natural. Humans, but when the worry comes up, wait, I'm thinking about what I don't want. What do I want? And then if you resonate with angels, that's a great time to ask your angels for help. So angels are not here just for the miracles and the life-saving and the quote unquote spiritual things. You can practice asking your angels for help with all kinds of things and see how they come through with you. So you could say, okay, what I want is easy parking lot front of the store, and angels, can you help me with this, please? Because they're not going to step in and intervene and run our lives for us. But when we ask them for help, they love to come help us.
Is there any specific language or way of communicating and asking angels for help?
No, it really is just your intention and your clarity that you're asking them for help. You can say it out loud in your heart. If you have a prayer that you love, use that. Great. Your angels are there with you all the time. We all have angels who are with us for our whole lives. They understand you. They know your language with them. You don't have to learn anyone else's special way of talking to angels.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's so sweet. Is there any other thing that you think the angels might want to share with us to soothe our lives and to give us hope and to that support, that maternal, I would say, energy that is so cozy, so warm, so beautiful?
If it's all right, I think we'll let a channeled message come through.
That would be lovely. Thank you.
So they'll let you know who's speaking. This is Raphael, Angel Raphael. So brilliantly, yes. What we want to add to this overall topic of wondrous ascension is that you are the ascension. So it's up to you, each of you, how much you want to choose to embody or live the ascension that's now available to all. So it very much is egalitarian. It's not value-based in terms of some judgment. Well, she's been meditating for 30 years. Of course, she can create things. It's not like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to earn it. This ascension is truly available to all. It is like a fresh new land, new beginning for all of humanity. So if you're listening and you're human, this applies to you.
That's awesome.
Are here to help. Absolutely, absolutely. And it really is your choice how much you want to embody and live these new energies. If you feel more cozy, comfortable in the way you have known the world, you can continue to create through habitual understanding more of what we would call third dimensional or old world thinking. Well, I have to work hard for this, or I'm not valuable enough to have this. In the new world, it is much more about you as a magical creator being of your own universe, no one else is telling you you can't have this, or that's too hard, or sorry, you're born in the wrong country for that. You can have anything you want. You're the script writer, the director, the producer of all of this. So do call on our help, call on angelic help for playful ways, for spiritual ways, all of it for greater understanding. At the same time, know that you are empowered to ascend fully, to be in your fullest expression of ascension right now. You don't have to wait for any teacher or friend or someone or something else to tap you on the shoulder and say, okay, now you can have it. We're here to tell you now you can have it. It really is the new earth, all of those energies that many people have been waiting for, including yourself, for some lifetimes now. It really is fully here for humankind. So how you play with this, interact with this, is by choosing, if you want to accept fully, to be the ascension yourself, to come into the embodiment of ascension. So it's not about checking out, closing your eyes, meditating, and leaving your body behind and going up and up and up and visiting the angels somewhere. It's about opening your eyes, taking a deep breath, and understanding that the energies in this new earth are an embodied energy. So you are living in it. So this old way of thinking, the human body, the human way of living, it's some lesser than, and I need to go up, float up into some other layers. It's very different now. You are a divine expression. You're here in a body, in a life. Use it. Create magical. Have fun, have joy, share love, share peace and your gifts, absolutely, or not. Just enjoy your unique expression in this life. That's what's open to you, and it really is up to you. You do need to choose it, and that's the only component here we'd say to be aware of. It's not forced on you, because for some people, the old world is more comfortable. It takes a moment. If you hear of something, some gift or some new way of energy that someone's speaking about here in the summit, it just takes you saying, yeah, I choose that. I'd like to experience that. That's all that your world is waiting for, is for you to choose these things.
Thank you. Awesome. Very nice. That was Archangel Raphael speaking to us.
Yes.
Thank you. So, what's the difference then between those that choose ascension and those that are not even aware of the choices that they have before them? What happens to those who are asleep? We call them maybe asleep, those who are very happy, not knowing what's going on. Where do they go? Where do those souls go?
Let's let the angels answer this one. I have an answer, but I think it'll be more powerful to come directly from them.
Sure.
This is Raphael, Angel Raphael. So it's not, some people conceptualize, and we see it as a bit of a misunderstanding here, that the earth is going to split into the haves and not haves. Those are awake and those who are asleep. In our mind, the sleepers and those now awake, more conscious of their awakening, are living on the same new earth. It's just that, let's say you were on a holodeck, like in Star Trek. If you wanted to, and you had the whole spaceship had landed on a new planet, and all these things were new foods, new colors, all these things were open, but you really didn't want to experience that. Well, you stay in the holodeck and say, no, I just want to stay in old Earth. So that's available out of compassion. This is not forced on anyone, and those souls are not lost. Most likely, souls who are choosing that in this life, either to go slower or not to enter the ascension process at all, it's because they'd rather come in another lifetime with all of the tools and not have to go through all the changes while they're here in an adult body, for example. So that's where the choice comes in. Do you want that? Do you want that much change, a new spark? Does that feel exciting to you? Or you feel like, no, I finally just know how to do life, and that's okay. Don't change it on me. So that's where the choice comes, and nothing negative is happening to those souls who stay asleep. The choice will come around again and be more palpable for them, perhaps in the space in between lifetimes, for example. So you don't have to worry. It's not your job or your mission, any of you, um, to wake everyone up where they're lost souls. It's not like that.
That's very relieving. And so I would like to hear your definition of ascension, Adria. How do you define, how do you explain ascension? Many people still say, what is ascension actually? So how can we explain it with the ABCs?
Yeah, and I love that this is the topic of your retreat because I feel like I finally understand this question this week. Because I really didn't. I was like, what is the difference between your personal spiritual growth and what these people are calling waking up or ascension? And get it now. So thank you for asking. Is right now we're in this huge collective moment of change for humanity, and what's open to us is what I would call this ascension, where we're literally humankind is moving from third dimensional. Right now we're more in fifth dimensional, and I think we're going to continue in the next few generations to probably seventh as more of a landing place. But right now the game has been up leveling to fifth dimension. It looks the same to the physical eyes for most of us. It doesn't look like some huge pink sky arrived, and so if you're looking for signs like that, you might not see anything like that. But how I feel it differently is on the energies, what's available to me, how when I think something, it appears in my life. And that didn't happen for me before. Certainly not with this kind of ease and sort of magical feeling to it. So it's like from the inside, what's available energetically to us. This, I feel, is our collective ascension.
Now, when you mentioned before this matter of ascension with the body, what does it mean actually? Does it mean that the body will not die in the traditional way as we understand it, or does it mean something else?
Yeah, the way I understand this, so for people who have had great meditation experiences, or sometimes people in the dream state, they astral travel, or they've had experiences maybe that call like deep spiritual experiences, but they didn't involve really the physical body, like your eyes were closed, you're sitting on a cushion, or you're asleep. So all the experiences are happening somewhere else, or I don't know how to explain it better than that, but it's not, you're not aware of conscious of your body at that time. This feels to me very different, like we're taking the body with us. So that's why it's unprecedented for humanity. We're literally walking into these other dimensions that maybe we could have visited before in meditation or astral travel. But now it's daily life is now in what I'm calling fifth dimension. And there's other words for that, but that just means you're in your living room in fifth dimension now instead of third dimension. So all the different rules apply energetically, different things are open to us. And the body has had to go through quite a lot of transformation. So those of you who've had weight gain, trouble with sleep, a lot of this, very, very typical. The body is literally learning how to live in another dimension. So give it some credit. It's going through a lot.
Can you give us a few of the symptoms that we might be feeling when in the process of transformation through ascension?
Yes. For me, one of the big ones was weight gain. And the way that angels had described this to me was, it's if you think of a rocket that launches, a whole bunch of the rocket falls off into the ocean. You don't think of that as a tragedy. It's like that piece was needed to launch us. So for many of us, the weight gain is two functions, somehow energetically to help us launch, but also for those of us who are sensitive, it can help to provide a little bit of padding so we don't feel it so much, because there's so much going on energetically right now. Let's talk about solar flares or other things. There's a lot of different energies coming, and the body is adjusting to all of that. So giving it the grace, the time to adjust. The weight gain can be one thing. Different sleep patterns or tiredness patterns. So days or weeks or months where you feel like you can barely get out of bed, and then suddenly you're up at 3 a.m. and you can't sleep. That's not just anxiety. That's in most cases now the energy is coming in these big waves, and it's just the more you can ride it, be with what is. If you're awake, great, be awake. If you're asleep, if your schedule can allow it, just stop judging yourself so much, take the extra sleep when you need it. And usually The schedule will kind of magically, if you're playing in this ascension realms and saying, this is what I want, you're going to find the grace there that, oh,
Right.
maybe this is why I have to work this month, because I just need to sleep right now. So not judging it so much, kind of going with the energies. That's what I would suggest.
Yeah, what I feel is a lot of movement in my spine. Literally, my nervous system is sometimes like buzzing so much, and it's quite uncomfortable. Is that part of the set of symptoms that we could include here?
Absolutely. No, we're becoming more powerful beings. That's my experience. Like our capacity to hold light, our capacity for different gifts, like third eye seeing or different spiritual or healing gifts are coming open. So to facilitate that, there's all kinds of different sensations in the body. And yeah, again, it's like one of those beautiful metamorphosis moments, like when the caterpillar becomes the butterfly. That if you think about the
Yeah.
experience of the butterfly when it's goo, it's like, it's kind of weird or uncomfortable or at least confusing. Wait a minute, what am I? Give yourself some grace to let it be confusing or daunting.
That's a beautiful analogy. Yeah, it still is a beautiful one. So, Adria, would you like, I think that you have something special for our viewers that you would like to tell us about. Do you have two or something special offers? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when I was thinking about Ascension, um, the angels teach through me at least once a month. So I have a lot of audio and video recording.
Oh,
I was looking through the
that's
ones over
beautiful.
the last year, half a year, the ones that for me really knocked my socks off, because I really like them all. But there are certain ones where I'm like, oh, this one, if I'm going to recommend this one to anyone. So what I did is put together a collection of, and the angels helped with this. They usually change my choices. So the angels created for you. The first package has two audio recordings. They're each about an hour. One is called Creating Within Time. So we have a new relationship with time now, where it doesn't have to be an obstacle, but it's still there like a spice or flavoring. How can we use it? The second one is Doorways of the Heart. So speaking about how to lean into some of these new energies that are available to us.
Nice. Very
And then
nice.
some video play shops. So those are usually about an hour and a half angel teaching. The first one is called Physically Embodying New Earth. So yeah, how do we embody? We teased a little bit about this
Very
subject.
appropriate. Very nice. Yes.
We do it. The second one is called Blossoming of the Heart, and that has 3 different exercises about rooting into the new earth. So if you had an old grounding practice, like I experienced this, it doesn't work anymore because earth changed.
Right.
So rooting into new earth, connecting to humankind in a new way, and then receiving grace. That's what that play shop is about.
Yeah.
And the third one is called The World Is As You Make It. So how to really create what you want.
Beautiful.
So all of that is in the first package, and the second package has all of those recordings plus a one-on-one session with me.
Beautiful. That's very nice.
And I should say with the angels, really. So channeling session where you can ask your specific questions to the angel.
Right. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Adria, for that. And so, yes, all of the information, the contact information, and Adria's links to these special offers, you can find them daily from airing time day number 1, which is May 22nd through May 31st. So all of the information will be available there. So watch for that. Check your spam. I mean, go there and see if everything's there. So whitelist these emails so that you can have all of these gorgeous information, material, tips, and these special offers and contact information at your hand. So is there anything else maybe that you would like to say, last thoughts to wrap up this beautiful conversation with the angels?
Yeah, what comes up for me is just to say to each of you listening here, you're invited. I know it feels like there's this hesitation in some of us right now to feel like, well, I don't know if I'm valued enough Am I the special one? And I want to say to you, you're invited to just fully expand, embrace this ascension in whatever ways are meaningful to you. You are, you're invited into this fully. It's not for some other special people. It's for you.
Beautiful. Yes, you are special. Every one of you, each and every one of you is special. And so we need to find out and remember, right? It's the time of remembering who we truly are. We're children of the Most High, so everything is within. And so thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Adria. Thank you so much. And again, as always, I invite you to please share your takeaways and your thoughts about these conversations. You just hit reply in this email or just join my private Facebook group, Wondrous Ascension, and tell us about all of your thoughts and feelings. It's always nice because we can add more information and more goodies for you. And so this is all for now. Thank you so very much. And we will be here waiting to offer you more tools in our next episode. Thank you. Take care. Namaste.